data center, information security, documentation services, information service, and telecommunications. The goal of IT there is the goal of IT to provide thousands of users with information needed in a timely and cost-effective manner, something that you need every day with any company. This is outlook and basis of every decision that is made in IT. And right now, I think I was in a unique situation, especially now with how the economy is. I don't think that there's too many companies out there doing a $175 million IT restructure initiative. It's been really interesting, especially working with all the consultants that are in here. You learn a lot of different things and seeing how things operate. It's almost overwhelming. One of my assigned tasks, and this has been my main project, hasn't taken up most of my time, but it has been my main initiative that I've had. It's the P3E project management system is by a company called Primavera. I was responsible for this installation and implementation. What my main tasks were: database creation and maintenance, web server installation and configuration. Because it was accessing data, we configure the web servers to do that. Client setup, again, it accesses the database. We set up the installations, which is carried out by desktop support, and the system diagram, which I have here. Is it easy to switch back? Oops. That's important. And what we see here is basically the whole site diagram of what is currently up with the system. I should make note now, it's not in production, but I'll get to that. What we have here is out on the file server. You can see everything that is installed there. We have the Oracle client. It's a custom installation. You want to install this client in just one file server and have everything that needs it access that server. Reason being, if you bring in an upgrade, you don't have to go out throughout the company and upgrade everywhere. There's another thing out there called an unattended setup file. It's something that the P3 system generates. I actually generated on a client machine that is rolled out through desktop support with a set of instructions. It's a pretty simple file. They double-click it and installs it and configures the client machine the same throughout the company. And registry files for Oracle are set up there, a little batch file that configures the client machine to know where to go out and find Oracle. This is the client machine. It's actually a fat client. People that would get this would be a project manager or anybody who is in charge of updating or implementing a project, assigning the resources to it, anything like that. And the client actually takes Oracle's DDLs and uses a product by Borland, BDE, to communicate with the database server. Some PR wanted just the name Sun Solaris box, as Jonathan was talking about, actually holds the database. And we have different environments. You have the demo environment, test environment, user test environment, and production environment. Currently, we're working with demo and test, and we will move to production hopefully in February. And our web server is named as just Primo. It's a group server for the progress reporter, which would be, if you're assigned to a project, is where you enter your time and any changes that you've made. It's how it keeps track of the cost for the system. Primo Vision website is actually a lot like the FAT client. I think it's more made for people that may be off-site. Your insurance, everything is internal. But a manager could go in there and update the project resources, what have you. And these are just a couple other services that are needed on the web server. And actually, this is where I ran into a big problem, and I did learn a lot, was Oracle client installation. For probably a week, we were having trouble installing it. There's actually 3 different levels of installations, as you can do with any software. An administrative, a programmer, and a application user. All you should really need is an application user for Oracle to communicate across the network, to go out and find some PR1 and update that database and communicate with it. Actually, I even talked with technical support from P3E, and the guy I was talking with, he didn't even understand that you did need Oracle installed in there. He said, well, you're only using ODBC. You don't need Oracle client, which is not true. It needs the DDLs to know where to find it, how to communicate through a couple files that are with Oracle, TNS names, and SQLnet files. And these are just the websites that you set up for Progress Reporter. That should actually be PMD1 in the first one, PMT1, PMU1, PMP1. You're unique to go to each database in your different environments. Can I switch back again?
Can you explain? What you had to do is make sure that this installed both on the server side and on the client side?
Yes. Yes. I actually wrote up a set of detailed instructions for desktop support to roll it out. It's actually only on about 8 people of the product development team right now. And once it's done being developed and rolled out, it'll move on. The process, which is very interesting, something I've never been a part of, something you can't get from, actually can't get from school. I had many meetings with the development team to identify the needs, and I needed to understand how products flow through the company. It wasn't so much that needed to understand how projects work, but the team needed to know how and how to set it up in the company. The results, we're currently testing and developing with it. Just got some news just the other day. We were supposed to have a new version ready to roll out into production, so you don't have to update production, which can be tedious. And like I said, we're scheduled to go to production on February 1st, 2002. Basically, all my other tasks revolve around Oracle and Unix. Again, Unix runs on the Sun Solaris boxes. Like Jonathan said, they're powerful machines. There's a lot to learn with them. I obviously don't do a lot of work with them. You always have to commute with the Unix administrators with the root and all the power that they hold. But I'm just responsible for assisting in maintenance and implementation of Oracle databases. And from this restructure, the IT initiative, we expect over 20 new databases in over 4 to 5 environments. You're looking at 100 different databases that are coming in. So there's a lot going on, there's a lot changing, and your insurance didn't need to do that. They were behind in the times. We're finally pushing forward to do a lot more online processing, and that's what this allows us to do and get away from the mainframe environment. And it's important that backup and recovery procedures are in place and effective. This is job one every day, to make sure information is there to the people who need it. And then you can move on and try new things and develop other things.
What does it mean to assist in the maintenance implementation? What have you done?
Oh, so much. As far as just this Primavera system, I put up the databases, take the scripts, modify them, working with the different parameters. By no.
To change what columns in the database are available?
No. More the sizing, your data block size, your.
Oh, so from the DBAs?
Yes, the actual technical side. Right, exactly. And there's so much to this. It takes years and years, and tons of seminars to even get proficient at any of that stuff. So I actually have to work with the senior DBAs there. They help me out, show me what the best sizing techniques are to get the most efficient response times out of it. And when I did start out in the data side. I've then since moved over to the technical side. That's where more of my interest was.